Welcome inside our MSG Networks studio. I'm Shannon Hogan, alongside four-time Stanley Cup champion Butch Goring. Butch, not the ending we were looking for, but boy, was that an exciting game down to the wire between the Islanders and the Flyers, game two.
Yeah, it really was, and I'm sure a lot of the Flyer fans thought this game was in the bag, but the Islanders showed tremendous fortitude to hang in with their game. And you know, they got off to a bit of a shaky start in the first period, and it wasn't that the Flyers, in my opinion, were playing all that great, although I give them full credit for taking advantage of odd man rushes, but it was the Islanders who gave them those opportunities. They forechecked very aggressively. They had some good opportunities themselves, but in doing that, they left themselves exposed, and the first couple of goals was odd man rushes, and then, of course, a defensive lapse by the Islanders, and they were down 3-0. However, the game would certainly get a whole lot better.
Yeah, it got better as the Islanders went on. You mentioned there that the Flyers jumped out to a 3-0 lead. That didn't mean that the Islanders didn't have some good sparks early on, especially with Matt Barzal's line.
I thought Matt Barzal was terrific. He was the best player on the ice by a wide margin. I mean, every time he got the puck, he created something for his line mate. So, I mean, the Islanders pressured. There was an opportunity right there, a crazy bounce, and it would have been a little more lucky. They would have scored earlier on. So, Islanders could have taken a 1 or 2-0 lead early on in this game. They certainly had enough chances. They had offensive zone time. They were skating around. They were moving the puck all over the place. Puck retrievals, everything that we hoped that the Islanders would do, they did in that first couple of sequences. First 4 or 5 minutes, really, they were really good. They could have come back. It was 1-0 early for the Flyers, but certainly they had opportunities to come back. But as I mentioned, they weren't able to capitalize, and then of course the Flyers did.
One of the things coming into this series that people were kind of looking at when they were, talking about the matchup between the Islanders and the Flyers was be aware that the Flyers' top scorers haven't really gotten going yet. We saw that with Kevin Hayes early on, 2 goals in the first period for him.
Well, if you think back, I said in my first game, one of my keys was you have to take care of Kevin Hayes because he's a terrific hockey player. The Islanders did a good job in the first game, not as good a job in the second game, and they allowed him a couple of odd man opportunities. And you can see this is going to be a 3-on-2, and a nice place by Konechny, pass all the way across, and Hayes, that's just a great shot. It's over the short side. I'm not sure you can really blame Varlamov about it. Maybe he could have been a little aggressive, but Hayes has a terrific wrist shot, and he gives the Flyers that 1-0 lead. And again, that was an odd man rush. And then this is another sequence. It's a bouncing puck, and the Flyers are able to pick that up. This is a 2-on-1, and Hayes again. This one here, not a good goal. Good shot by Hayes, but not a good play by Varlamov. He's got to play Hayes straight up. He doesn't. Look at his angle. He's sideways. He's deep in his net, and he gives him the short size. And that's the second goal, and then the third goal is going to be a great individual move by Couturier, a little chip pass from Giroux, and look at this play. I mean, this is just great one-on-one hockey, and he beats the goaltender. Unfortunately, that's it for Varlamov, but again, good offensive production from the Philadelphia Flyers. But again, all about the Islanders' lack of preparation on the defensive side of the puck.
Yeah, Varlamov's afternoon, I would say, was over after that, and Thomas Greiss went in. We know Barry Trotz has confidence in both of his goaltenders, but the next goal to get on would be an Islanders goal. You see here the flying start between the two Flyers that made a difference in the first period. Kevin Hayes, who you pointed out the Islanders need to do better on, 2 goals on 3 shots, played more than 19 minutes of ice time in this game. And Sean Couturier, a goal on 4 shots, played over 20 minutes. Butch, Islanders have their number now. They will be focused on that. Although I was impressed with the way the team went into the dressing room during the first intermission, came out in the second period, looked more like themselves, and they got a power play goal, which is always a good momentum boost for a team.
Well, as I said, they didn't play poorly in the first period. There was a lot of energy to the team, and they did a lot of good things right. So you can go into the dressing room and you can say, hey, listen, we need to get back and do the things that we're doing, be a little bit more solid. And there's Voracek, he swings it over the boards. And now it gives the Islanders a chance to get back on. Their power play hasn't been great during the playoffs, but it certainly is very, very efficient. And Barzal, who, as I said, just had an extremely good game. Beautiful pass right on the top of the crease to Lee, and he deflects it in. That's his bread and butter play. Watch this, just open the stick a little bit up and over the blocker side. And now the Islanders feel really like they have something going for them. They close the gap. They know they're doing a lot of good things, Shannon, and now they're ready to play.
Yeah, you need that 1 goal to feel like you're in the game. And game 2 versus the Flyers, a power play goal for the captain, Anders Lee, on 8 shots. He has been wildly successful in the playoffs so far. 11 games, 5 goals, 39 shots, a +6. They were looking to get that leadership from the captain. You know, in the postseason, he's been able to turn it on after the first couple of games, Butch. That's exactly really what they were looking for. But you look at what they were able to do in the third period, and it kind of felt like the more that they were going, the more confident this team began. And even listening to the NBC announcers who don't get to cover the team like we do on a night in, night out basis, you could sense that there was this feeling that the Islanders were going to make this interesting.
It wasn't a sense. You could just see the way the play was developing. I mean, they were all over the Flyers. It was their best period. I mean, it was a lot like the first period that we saw the other night where the Islanders completely dominated. And they just kept coming. They played the chip and chase game, and they just forechecked the heck out of the Flyers. You can see the speed through the neutral zone, get it to the outside, and then drive to the net, and a beautiful return pass, and Anthony Beauvillier is able to get it away in a real hurry. But they were developing that speed through the neutral when the Flyers started to back off just a little bit. But for a lot of the period, they were just, good solid pinching, a nice fortuitous bounce, and this is the goal. This is a goal scorer's goal, and this is what I've been saying about this guy is Hart's a terrific goalie. He's a young goaltender, and he's going to get better and better. But look at his positioning. But I just truly believe every opportunity you have to shoot high. This was the play. I don't know if this was a gutsy call by the coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, because it looked really, really close. Gave the Islanders an opportunity to win it in overtime. They couldn't capitalize on it. And then, of course, they figured out a way to win the game. But that was a tough call for me.
Yeah, that goal by Jean-Gabriel Pageau coming just over 2 minutes left in the third period. And yes, Alain Vigneault did challenge it, giving the Islanders a power play to finish this out. Then it went to overtime, but you can see here Pageau won 69% of the faceoffs, 3 shots, a goal, and Anthony Beauvillier continuing to be successful for the Islanders in the postseason. Unfortunately, Butch, they go to overtime. They're not able to get it done. But I want to touch on one thing that you had mentioned early on with Carter Hart. You want the Islanders to go high on him. Why do you think, if that's the book, that they're not doing that? Because they were going high on Varley in the first period.
Well, it's easier said, not as easy said, or not even done as easy as I would say to you, because you're under a lot of pressure, and sometimes you don't have time to look. Puck is bouncing. But every time, that you have that good, clear look, for me, as I would drill it high on this guy, because he's down early. And that's the difference, really, between him and Varlamov. Varlamov's been around a lot longer. He doesn't drop down right away. He waits for the shot, and he reacts to the shot, where Hart is certainly dropping down early, and certainly Pageau made him pay for it. So when you get those chances, I think that's what you have to look. We talked about that. If you think, Shannon, a couple of years ago when they played Pittsburgh, and I said to the guys, through the broadcast, shoot high on him all the time, because he's down all the time too. And they're able to beat Pittsburgh with a lot of high-range shots. So I'm advocating the same type of philosophy.
Going into overtime, it definitely felt like the Islanders had the momentum on their side. They had the quick goals. They were able to force overtime in a comeback situation. Unfortunately, it was the Flyers who were able to get it done in the first couple of minutes.
Well, a lot of times when you're getting outplayed as badly as the Flyers had in that third period, you get a chance to regroup. The coach gets to get his players settled down a little bit, and then everybody just kind of goes. But it's a face-off win by the Flyers, and good hard forechecking. You can see Giroux wins the battle, and then they get a little bit of luck here as it's kicked off, and Barzal just tries to clear it away from the front of the net. I thought that might have gone in right there, but it didn't, and he just wires it. And this is one of those lucky goals, because it goes right off the shaft of Anders Lee, and you can just see it goes right up and over. It's rolling, and no chance for Thomas Greiss. And I believe he got screened too by Barzal. So Barzal was in front, and so it's a tough choice. Do you try? If you're going to get in front of your goaltender, you have to block it. But if we're watching replays, they're having to react in split seconds. So a lucky break really for the Flyers at the end of the day. You always like to sort of see a good goal in overtime, at least I do, and good for the Flyers that they were able to get a good hard shot to the net, and that's what you're supposed to do. Throw it at the net, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
And I think this game proved it's going to be a longer series than maybe some originally thought. Islanders up to the challenge, and we're going to have the coverage for pre- and post-game as we continue forward in this series. It's now tied 1-1 after 2 games.